So this is my story of how I did my first Ironman in under 10 hours. This while working full time, traveling quite a lot for work, documenting the whole journey with weekly vlogs on YouTube, building my own businesses, trying to meet my family, my friends, and also taking care of myself. And I didn't start from zero. I had done the disciplines in their separate races before during the years leading into my start of the prep. But I had no experience with a triathlon before, so it was a new experience going into a triathlon preparation, and I had to handle that quite a lot on my own. I had a coach that handed me a training plan, but we had some basic communication here and there. But everything else I had to handle on my own with Google, ChatGPT, and trying, failing, learning, and repeating essentially. I learned a lot throughout the journey. So going forward, I thought I need to share some tips and tricks that you can use to your journey going forward. So in this video, I will share how I did it. Peace.
You call me up, but your dreams are mine. 5 more minutes to bed, we sit in the dark, like we'll both be fine.
About my preparation towards my first Ironman, I prepared for about 50 weeks, and about 6 weeks before my race day, I had a 7.3 scheduled as well. Here in Sweden, they won in Jönköping, and that was it was a great way of practicing, transition areas, nutrition, and getting a feel for the race nerve. So I highly recommend you doing a half distance before you do a full distance. Trained for about 50 weeks, and the stats for my whole prep was that I did about on average 8 hours and 40 minutes of training every week over that period, and that is divided into about 50% on the bike, 25% running, 15 in the pool, and then 10% at the gym. That was basically my split throughout my preparation period. The biggest tweak was about 15 hours and 20 minutes, and the lowest about 0 hours, because I was basically sick a few times throughout the prep, and that happens and gets you laying in bed in the sofa maybe for a whole week or just a few days, depending on how ill you get, right? But the structure, or how I structured my training, was that I work full-time, travel for work, try to do most of my training before work. So I had a lot of 5 a.m. alarms set to do my workouts before work, and that was basically because my job was quite unpredictable. Some days I ended up working more than planned, so I really wanted to get my training in, and to make sure I definitely do the training, I did it before work. So those early mornings, they were it was a lot of them throughout the prep, let's say it like that. And on weekends, Saturdays was always a double day with a swim and a long run, and Sundays were always a long ride on the bike. That could be from 2 hours to up to 5 hours at the end. Also, I traveled quite a lot for work every second week or so, and we tended to schedule those weeks a bit more easy, with only a few easy runs and an easy strength session. The travel days to keep the intensity low, because traveling, it takes a lot more energy than you think, and we learned that a few times throughout my prep. And when we say we, I had a coach that helped me with the training plan throughout the prep, but not more than that. I had to figure the rest out myself, basically. But the key part of my prep was doing basically all of my zone 2 work in the morning, and that kept me consistent over such a long period of time, even with a work that were quite unpredictable. But the weakness in that is that my sleep and recovery took a hit quite hard, and I slept too little throughout my prep, I must say. but I could stay consistent and still perform a really good first Ironman. That's for sure. I knew when I was going into this Ironman prep that I was gonna have a hard time getting it all work because I was starting a new job, wanted to document the whole journey. It was a new thing to me to do an Ironman, and the number one priority or my focus for the prep was to put in quality over quantity. So with only 8 hours and 40 minutes of preparation, I still managed to do a sub-10 Ironman. That is pretty sick, because if you Google it, a lot of the places says that you have to do a few more hours on average per week to do such a time. Of course, I didn't start from zero, but anyway, those quality sessions that I really did, they did its thing, that's for sure. But I want to bring up a breakthrough throughout my prep, and that was during like the autumn. I basically just trained to build the foundation, get the structure, and the being just consistent in the training. But then around like Christmas, New Year's Eve, and just in the beginning of January, we saw that I have progressed quite a lot, and we saw that 10 hours or sub-10 was in sight. And it was from then we started to do a small shift in the training with more specific target paces towards doing a sub-10. So it was not the first goal going into Ironman, and I maybe had sub-12 as a first goal going in, but then I progressed so much that sub-10 was in sight, and then I crushed it with about 6 minutes and 20 seconds or something. And I remember that breakthrough being such a huge boost for my training, that wow, doing a sub-10 the first time, that would be a great story for sure. And I get some goosebumps thinking about it. But it was a special feeling, that's for sure, to starting a new year with the feeling and the knowledge that I am quite fit today and I have the possibility to do a sub-10. So yeah, amazing start to the year, that's for sure. That's a bit about the story leading into the races, especially the full distance race. But that's it for now. I will take the rest later on. Peace.
Let me go, baby. I've already stayed too long. Don't you know I don't wanna go, baby.
Then race day came, right? And I remember the morning, getting up early, eating my breakfast, walking to the start line, putting on the wetsuit, standing there, the heart is beating. But as soon as I jumped in the water, I got in the rhythm. I crossed the finishing line of the swim at exactly the planned pace. And then the transition went good. Then out on the bike in the first 60, 70K, I was flying and I was feeling like $1,000,000 and I was gonna do this easily. And then the wind turned and it got a bit more heavy, but I was still right on target when I was done with the bike. Into the transition, that went all right again, and then straight out on the run. And the run really shocked me, because I didn't have the best preparation, but I could still pull off a sub 3:38 marathon on a Ironman race, and it was truly special. Like, the atmosphere on that run course was amazing and really helped me push myself. And the run went exactly as planned as well, and then I crossed the finishing line just under 10 hours. And sub-10 was the goal, and I crushed that with about 6 minutes. So I'm very, very happy about my first Ironman, that's for sure. And I had just a small tweaks. Maybe I could have done better. Maybe standing a bit less in the front on the swim because I stood maybe a bit too far forward, so I got swum past quite a lot. But still prefer that. Run. I started to feel my stomach a tiny bit because I had my nutrition plan exactly planned, and I stuck to that. But I also consumed like Coke, some watermelon at the aid stations, so I got those extra carbs, and I started to feel it getting maybe a bit too much. So I just pushed one gel a bit more, a few minutes, and it eased up. So I'm very happy about that. And then I started to feel some small cramps on like the last 2-3K, but I managed to work that through as well, and then crossing that finishing line, amazing. Yeah, it was the probably the best day of my life. Prepared for so long for that race, and I crushed the goal. When I crossed that finishing line, I was still feeling fresh, and I think that is mainly due to the first tip of this, that I was so extremely well prepared. I had everything planned out, and I knew exactly what to do if that happens, and that helped me in the way that I could just put in drive and then drive forward and then just shift gear if I needed to change my plans a bit, and that really helped. So massive tip: be so prepared that you can for the race day, so you know what to do in case something happens. And also, such an important thing is to never try something new at race day. And you've probably heard that before, but it's so important because it can make it or break it, essentially, especially when it comes to food. I ate some watermelons just at one aid station, went totally fine because I've done it before, and then Coke, tried it loads of time, but I never ate anything else, none of the bars or any of the other fruits. So I just stuck to my gels. Boring, you might say, but it works, and I get damn good energy from it, and I know my stomach can handle that amount of energy. So do not try something new on race day. Okay, then the most important tip I want to give you is to try to bring as many of your friends and family as you can to the race day. I brought my whole family, booked a big apartment where we could stay, all of us, to experience this weekend, because especially the closest one you have, those who have supported you throughout the journey, invite them to the race weekend so they can experience you getting through that race and that weekend, because it truly is such a great atmosphere. Everyone is happy, everyone is cheering, you have athletes everywhere, you have supporters everywhere, and it truly is a special day. So bring as many of your close friends and family and those who have supported you to the race. It will help a lot throughout the weekend, and especially on race day when you see them on different spot on the run course, for example. 3 tips for you: plan. Do not try anything new, and bring those who have supported you the most throughout your journey. Invite them to be there with you when you cross that finishing line. That's my story in a short video. I can talk many minutes about this, as you may notice. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any questions or so, whatever it could be about my journey, you can leave it in a comment down below or send me a DM on Instagram. That is totally fine as well. Then I will see you in the next one. So peace.